SpongeBob SquarePants. This mad yellow sponge, along with his crazy starfish friend, his grumpy squid neighbour, and his greedy crab boss, have captured the hearts of millions for the past 2 decades and a half. With 14 seasons under its belt and a 15th coming out next year, 4 movies, and 2 spin-off shows, this has become one of the most popular animated franchises. But since 2018, this show has become a shadow of its former self. Stephen Hillenburg created the show. He was beloved by many, and unfortunately in 2018, he passed away. Now this was a dark day for SpongeBob. People were wondering what's going to happen to the series. Will it be discontinued? Will they just get new creators in who are passionate SpongeBob fans? Well, no. Nickelodeon and Paramount just looked at this death and thought, well, let's squeeze the juice out of this franchise as much as we can. For me, Stephen Hillenburg's death was probably one of the worst things to ever happen to the SpongeBob franchise. Of course, we lost a great creator, but it also meant that it paved the way for Nickelodeon and Paramount to get their greedy, grubby hands on this franchise and pump out spin-off after spin-off and all these awful movies and shows. In 2020, we got Sponge on the Run, the first 3D animated version of SpongeBob. In 2021, we got the Camp Coral show, where we follow younger versions of all our beloved characters. In the same year, we got the Patrick Star show, where we follow SpongeBob's friend. And in 2024, we got Saving Bikini Bottom, the Sandy Cheeks movie. And as I mentioned earlier, we're getting a 15th season of the show, and we're getting a new movie called The Search for SquarePants. We have got all of this since Stephen's death in 2018. Now, if you didn't know, Stephen Hillenburg had at least 7 rules about SpongeBob. Stuff like SpongeBob will never have a love interest, or will never find out what the Krabby Patty's secret formula is. He put in all these rules, and for a few of them, I'll give Nickelodeon and Paramount credit, they haven't broken all of them, but they broke which are possibly 2 of the most important ones. No spin-offs, and no crossover episodes. Now, they haven't really broke the crossover one yet, but I can guarantee you now it will probably happen in a few years, because you know what Nickelodeon and Paramount and these sort of studios are like. They like to milk these franchises as best they can, and they'll bring in stuff from other beloved animated shows because it makes them more popular, more viewers to it. I guarantee you it will happen. But the spin-off one, they have broke that many times, and none of them have been good. I've not watched the Patrick Star show, but judging by what I've seen online, I don't really think I'm missing much. I watched a couple of episodes of Camp Coral. Not even the same show. Absolutely terrible. Sponge on the Run was a terrible movie. It was basically just a setup for Camp Coral, basically. And it introduced that awful 3D animation style, which I just hate. I hate 3D animated SpongeBob. And now we get to the Sandy Cheeks movie, which I've literally just got done watching. And this is easily the worst SpongeBob project. Now, this isn't really going to be a full review of that movie. All you got to know, it's very lazy. It's not interesting. It's not funny. It's very stupid, but not in a charming way like SpongeBob does. It is very lazy. Like, you can tell there's just no passion at all. The only good thing I can say is the voice acting, which is always good in these SpongeBob shows. That's the only thing I've always liked about them, these spin-offs. But this just felt soulless, this movie. There was no effort at all. And this whole movie encapsulates what is wrong with SpongeBob. For one, I've just mentioned it, the new animation style. I hate this new animation style. For anything else, I guess it'd look good for a TV, like, series animated show. It'd work well for that. But it just doesn't work for SpongeBob. And also, I don't get this. Why are Nickelodeon and these writers so obsessed with getting SpongeBob out of the water? Out of Bikini Bottom? Or at least out of, like, the parts around it? Why are they so obsessed with that? He's a sponge and his friends belong in the water, in the sea, in Bikini Bottom. Keep them there for as long as you can. This is one of the reasons why I didn't like the second half of Sponge Out of the Water. The first half was pretty good. 2D animation, it was weird, we had time travel in there as well. It was very weird. But then the second half, they go out of the water and then they're 3D animated. And then we're fighting Antonio Banderas' pirate. It was so weird. I don't know why they bothered do that. That bit just felt so out of place. But now they're just completely obsessed with this new animation. It doesn't look right. Stop doing it. You don't need to reinvent something that's already good. Second of all, the humour. One good thing about SpongeBob was that they made jokes that were for adults as well as kids. They did well at balancing them sometimes. Sometimes they just go for straight up adult humour, which is really, really funny.
Back, you twisted tongue! You will not lick me!
But nowadays, they are so childish with it. When I watched the Sandy Cheeks movie, I didn't laugh once. Every joke was so kiddish. There is no, like, adult humour in there, risky stuff. Like, I liked it when they took a risk. Take a risk, don't be safe with it. I know SpongeBob's a kids show mainly, but the main charm of it was that it also appealed to older audiences as well because of those adultish jokes. But nowadays, it just seems like stuff you'd see on Nick Jr. Like, it was just so kiddish and light. Like, are we really that sensitive now that we can't have slightly adultish humour in kids shows now? Are we scared it's going to, like, infect the brains of kids now because that's how sensitive we are? Beyond that, just take a risk and do it. And thirdly, the stories just aren't really that interesting now. You look at the original SpongeBob movie. I still believe that is a perfect movie. What a great story to tell. Patrick and SpongeBob go on the journey to get King Neptune's crown back before Mr. Krabs is incinerated. And they feel so confident saying, we're men, we're big and strong, we're great. And in the end they learn that they don't really need to be big men. At the end of the day, they've done it. They've got back King Neptune's crown, they defeated Plankton. At the end of the day, yeah, they're just kids, but they're happy with that. They're living life. And they're also a goofy goober. But nowadays, and especially with this Sandy Cheeks movie, the story was so basic and it wasn't that interesting. Like, when you think of a Sandy Cheeks movie, I mean, they come up with a good idea. They get her out of the water to save Bikini Bottom, and we meet with her family, and we go back to her past. Now, that's quite interesting. But it's presented and written in such a childish and non-interesting way that it's so hard to get invested. This movie just had the animation style, which I just hate, awful kiddish jokes, which I don't even think a 1-year-old would probably laugh at, and a story that's not even that engaging. So it just becomes this unimaginably boring mess that's just there to fill out Netflix's catalogue. It was so lifeless, boring, and it encapsulated everything that I hate about SpongeBob now. The only episodes and stuff I watch now are older episodes and the original movie. That is all I watch of SpongeBob now. I don't give a crap about Camp Coral, the Patrick Star spin-off. I don't care about Sponge on the Run, Search for SquarePants, Sandy Bloody Cheat spin-off. Stop doing spin-offs, Nickelodeon. You are basically giving a massive f*** you to Stephen because now he's dead. Like, ha, you're dead. We can just do whatever we want with this franchise now. No! Like, it's got to a point now where I actually want them to sell the rights to a different studio where they get actual good writers who are big SpongeBob fans to write new seasons and for them to stop doing these spin-offs because that's what Stephen wanted. You are ruining the legacy of SpongeBob. Why is it that they change everything from my childhood and make it worse? SpongeBob, when I was really young, I used to watch really kiddish shows. And they've all been ruined now as well. It's dumb, it's stupid, it's sad. It's sad to see that SpongeBob has become a shell of its former self. So if you're a big SpongeBob fan, do not watch the Sandy Cheeks movie. If you're trying to show your kids SpongeBob, don't show them this. Show them the older episodes. They'll have a laugh with them. That you enjoyed them, they'll enjoy them 100%. The only positive thing I can say about the Sandy Cheeks movie is, again, the voice acting's good. That's it. It was not funny. It was not entertaining. It was incredibly awkward and cringy. What an embarrassment. The worst SpongeBob SquarePants project. So the Sandy Cheeks movie is going to get a 1.5 out of 10. Do not watch it. It's terrible. And yeah, guys, that is the end of this review / retrospective on how SpongeBob SquarePants has just fell off now. It's really sad. But yeah, guys, I hope you all enjoyed this video. Let me know your thoughts on the Sandy Cheeks movie and how you think SpongeBob has changed as a whole. Do you think it's still good? Do you think it's really gone downhill now? Let me know. But I hope you all enjoyed this video. Have a good day. I'll see you later.